So BigBear.AI just jumped about 7% today as it recovered from a recent small correction last week. And we caught the move live this morning. While a lot of people have just been watching the indexes, we're actually trading data center companies. And we even saw a 23% swing on AMD this morning. And our Rigetti position is almost 300% up. If you ever want to see our trades in real time in our daily live trading sessions in StockMate, it's the second link in the description below. So let's take a look at BigBear. We have some different charts. We should probably take a step back, maybe get rid of the drawings. We've seen this company have some manipulation in the past here back in 2024. But other than that, when we saw this spike up to $10 in February, it was a different kind of tune. We were looking at the real world usage. I was just on a call, just got off a call with a StockMate, one of our members in our community, and he told me that he was just flying through LAX and he got excited when he saw the BigBear scanner scanning his face at the airport. And so we've seen them deploy more. They had a $10 price point just back in February before selling back down to $2.36. We have average prices in around $2.80 when we started covering it there back in October. And we've seen it continue this run. It's actually continuing up into previous highs. We see it get up into $8 in July, sell back down, and then have this movement over the last few weeks. You can kind of see since September kind of surging up. It stair-stepped its way up into this high. It was just every previous resistance as a support up into a high of $8.50. Then we saw it downtrending very consistently, and then recently broke out. And we caught this trade on this breakout here, and now we see it continue to make some changes here and continuing a new trend. So if we just kind of take a step back, we can kind of delete all these drawings and see where this thing is going. You can kind of see what's developing so far is this this trend here, and you have this level of support that's kind of finding now around $7 level of support, and then you got a resistance level here at around it's going to be here up and into this range, with the exception of maybe that climb. You're looking at something like this, so kind of targeting to get back up into that range, getting us maybe even as high. Maybe we see a shorter term correction, something like this, back into that 730, 720. But we're really looking at maybe continuing up into this $8.50 range once again, as we see the momentum continue to build. So a couple levels to really note right now is you do have some previous resistance levels here at about 730 or 750, if I'm not mistaken, right around here. Yep. And that is a level that you want to watch as a new support. It's going to be right here around the 750 range where it could sell down to. And the next level of resistance, probably looking right around here, 825, somewhere in there. So if we're looking at where it's trading right now, we're looking maybe another 5-10% here from about 750 up into that 850 range. That's a 10% margin for profit there. And then nearest support again at around 750. So good to see it continue the uptrend today, along with the greater market. One thing we were just talking about over in Mercatus that we have recently added as some data sources is the government shutdown. The government shutdown, not people really realizing this, but when you look at the government shutdown, there is a higher number of positive returns from government shutdowns in the past than almost any other period of time. So it's interesting, right? So in the current government shutdown, so far we're going to see it's going to be determined what that looks like. But when we look at, let's see, the shutdown, any data, we got some data we're using. We're looking at all of the past market returns and all those things, and I fed them into the model here, or Ryan, our developer, fed it in. So it's considered in some of the projections. And so we can kind of get an idea of what things look like here with the probability in the shutdown and what we're seeing. We are seeing positive impacts in the markets right now. And so when you look at, for example, BigBear, see the shutdown is worth it. let's see, it's still happening right now. Tourists in limbo, closed, canceled, and turned away. Capitol Visitor Center is closed. Tours are canceled because, well, government shut down. And so that means a company like Big Bear, who thrives on contracts, if this is a sustained shutdown, this is one of the things. Higher impact industries from government shutdowns are usually in defense markets because that's where they're looking for contracts. And so with Big Bear, you could look at TSA. This is a .gov article, TSA .gov article, where they're looking for biometric scanning and reduced reliance on manual labor, AI and machine learning threat detection, biometric verification tools. That's exactly what Big Bear offers. So with Big Bear, they're doing like the very scan you guys have probably seen if you've gone through the airports, any of the major airports, LAX, JFK, Denver International Airport. They're scanning your face. And the diverse approach that they have is that they're going with TSA. They're also going to Delta or to major airports and airlines individually. When they're going to individual airlines, it opens up now not just data that they're getting that's surfaced for the US government and why they get Department of Defense contracts, but it also opens up the commercial opportunity for them to get data for the individual airline or port of entry private companies or public companies for that matter. So when you look at where they're going, they could have potentially gotten enough revenue to propel them into their next earnings, because we did see them have more deployments and announce a few contracts in the last 6 months or last 3 months. And we could see that despite all of the negative connotation around their recent net income, negative earnings, and really diving in and seeing how it really wasn't as bad as it looked, they could come in with maybe some more revenue in the next quarter. Now, that's more speculative, but we do know their balance sheet increased, so investor activity is starting to heat up right now on Big Bear. And when we look at the institutional holdings, we've seen increased positions, so institutions are buying more of Big Bear. Why is that? Why did we see them correct after their earnings and then continue to launch back up into $7.50 at this point after this sharp earnings? It was the institutional buyers. So with the government shutdown, they are looking to, still build into the contracts they currently have, like the ones in the Panama Canal. They're doing that ARCA's tech that can identify different ships that come in and out of the ports. They're also looking at these levels and saying, okay, we're seeing the uptrend. We got to watch. It's not just straight up from here. We've seen a lot of green and it's good. But now you look at the MACD, look at the RSI, things looking a little bit overbought. So next level of support, again, around $7.50. We'd like to see them continue up, of course, as we hold them long term. But that's their current level they're at. And if you also just look at the shorter term little trend that they started to develop right now, you could see the support and resistance. Let's see where they're at right here. And, it almost looks like they're trending upward and things are bullish. They're keeping that upward direction, but that they're still at a little bit of an overextension. And we could see them at least pull down to that EMA, that blue line. So the blue line oftentimes acts as a support level. You could see that here, support, and then in a bear market acts as a resistance, that blue EMA. See that resistance line. So again, bullish, you're going to see that blue line act as a support. Bearish, you're going to see it acting more as a resistance, as you saw towards the end of September, that correction. Then we see bearish, bearish, bearish. Now it's holding above that EMA for the most part. So again, nearest support level, really about $7.50. That's where we're going to be watching. See if maybe it bounces down there at market open. Aside from the technicals, you do look at the opportunity with the 2026 FIFA World Cup, 2028 Olympics as an opportunity for them to collect a massive amount of data on people coming in and out of the US. So if you think the 2026 FIFA World Cup won't see a massive influx of people, you need to think again, because this is the biggest event in the world coming to North America, and we're going to see some serious traffic coming into the US. And as a result, you're going to want to see companies that document all of that data and have partnerships with, for example, the Pentagon or Department of Defense, like BigBear or Palantir, which they have a partnership here with BigBear. You're gonna look for this type of technology to potentially garner more contracts from the U.S. government. And right now, though, it's very highly unlikely we would see any catalyst come out today or tomorrow or the next day because of the government shutdown. So that's why we're kind of looking at that pullback here in the near term. Green, though, and hopefully everyone's having a good day, our Rigetti positions up over 300% on that shorter term trade. It's kind of a swing, and our longer term positions in the Schwab portfolio are doing better. We don't trade anything short term that we don't already hold long term. About 9 times out of 10, we will hold them long term usually. And same thing with Big Bear. Regardless, I'm going to be holding Big Bear. Not going to be, changing my position just because it's high. We've ridden it very high and very low, and we continue to hold. But we do look for those opportunities to trade on the short term. So we'll be watching it at market open tomorrow. There's some other good data center companies, some defense companies we're watching. Black Sky was up 11%. Redwire has been doing well. We're watching semiconductors, robotics. If you want to stay up to date with them, subscribe. And also, if you want to tune in live at market open tomorrow and get a free t-shirt, it's the second link in the description below. And right now, you can get in lifetime access Monday through Friday and join us there at market open. Might be early, depending on where you're at, but it's a good time, and we're there every morning at market open. Would love to see you there. Again, it's the second link in the description below. Hopefully I earned your thumbs up. Do consider subscribing, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.